Welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, he's Kyle Ferguson, and we are here to take your calls if you are a patron of this show over at patreon.com/ITN. And if you're listening live, if you're sitting in the chat room, welcome, hello. If this is your first time, we do this through Skype. Details are right over on our Patreon page right now. Make sure you add our account before trying to call in. Other than that, really no rules. Try not to cuss. We'd appreciate it. Other than that, thanks. Kyle, how you doing today?
I'm doing well.
I'm doing all right. I had one of those evenings, Kyle. One of those evenings where you just cannot fall asleep no matter how hard you try.
And sometimes it just takes one lift of a leg and a twist, and finally you pass out.
Yep.
And you had no idea why your brain was throwing such a fit.
I had extremely stressful dreams too. So
Oh.
when I finally did pass out, it was just like, what's going on? I don't know what was wrong with me last night, man.
Gross.
Yep, but a little bit stressed out, I guess. Lots of stuff going on, lots of moving parts. It was a busy week.
Life, man. It was a busy week.
Did 3 Angry Chickens, 2 Into the Nexuses, and Overwatchers.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so doesn't look like Angry Nerds happening this week.
I think that's a sane bet.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy week just in general for video game journalism.
It has. It has been rather crazy. So
If you enjoy Overwatch or do Overwatch content, you've been busy. And if you don't do Overwatch content, you've been feeling the strain of communities.
yes. I don't know what you're talking about, Kyle. I haven't been in any subreddits or forums or message boards or reading Twitter where I've gotten any inclination whatsoever that certain fans of a certain game are a little miffed at the moment.
Yes. Is Hearthstone okay? Are they just cool because it's like casual town?
I'd say that's happening. It's happening there too. Not as much
Yeah.
as Heroes, but it's definitely happening there as well. This is the first time I think no, not really. Probably the second time in Hearthstone's history that's like, oh crap, we're not the new shiny anymore, guys. But
I think they regain their new shiny status every time they get a set, though.
that is true. But it's already kind of shaken out, at least on the side of esports. The meta has stabilized.
Oh, that quickly, huh?
Oh god, yes.
Huh.
Yep.
How's Cthulhu doing?
Not well.
Oh,
Not well at all.
I'm climbing fast to like 15, but that's pretty good for me.
It's a wonderful ladder deck. Not really in terms of esports, but anyways, we have our first caller. Let's get him in here. It's our good friend Christopher. Welcome back, Christopher.
Good day.
How you doing? I believe in this fine evening, given your time zone.
Yeah, I'm waiting around for you to answer. That's pretty much my plan at the moment.
Well, you're
Good
in.
plan.
So, what did you bring with you today, sir?
Today I might get some. You won't. I might get some. Not hate. Your fans are too nice for that. But I sent a very lengthy email. I just picked it up and saw it was very lengthy about the seasons and MMR Hell a couple of weeks ago. And I really wanted to discuss it. So it was good you didn't take it on the show.
Huh.
I figured it out after I sent it that. Maybe I should talk about that because I want to give responses. The first thing is the MMR Hell thing, that it doesn't exist, and this will throw a fit for some people. If you look over several games, you will see that it doesn't. Hot Slugs is very good at that, as you can see your progress all the way. You have some bad games, but you have a lot of good ones. So I have about 50% win rate, so apparently I am where I should be.
Okay. I mean, that's it's a hard thing to take in, regardless. There's a lot of factors, obviously, ego, popular opinion, stuff like that. So I can't necessarily blame people. Kyle and I certainly have felt that way at times. That's why we went and started Smurfs, and that's why we look at it being like, wow, Mars a lot better on our Smurf than our regular account, and so on and so forth. So I can understand.
But how many games have you played on your Smurfs? That's an interesting point, because Blizzard had said, I believe it's 150 games or something like that.
Right.
I think Browder keeps throwing out 200, doesn't he? Doesn't he keep throwing out
200 then.
It does float around a bit.
Yeah, definitely not that many. Definitely not that many. But
no, but if you go to Hot Slugs and look at your stat, you will see it's almost flat at this point. It should be, at least. And people keep telling MMR hell and they can't get there, but why are all the pros at the top then? One of them or two should be at the bottom.
Right. Well, now
This
you're
is
talking
ridiculous.
hard truths, right? And, I'll get messages, and I'm sympathetic. I mean, I really enjoy supporting, not so much maybe in Heroes of the Storm. I really enjoyed supporting back in Dota and whatnot. But I'll get messages of like, Kyle, I'm the best support in the world. Why am I stuck in MMR hell? And if we're talking hard truths here, you can't carry in support.
No, it's
Really?
very, very hard to do.
No, you really can't. You could there for a hot second as Rhaegar.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah,
not
you-
really the case anymore.
And a brief time as Brightwing, sort of.
And Tyrande, sorry.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
okay.
all those-
So
yeah, exactly. They've
there
all had
were
their
exceptions to
time in
the
the
rule,
sun.
and I'm sure someone's going to think of, I don't know, one time that the goo gun on the Lieutenant Morales was really broken on a closed beta or something.
Well, and Uther was able to carry when we had very few assassins because you plug Uther into our one or two working guys, Vala, Illidan, during that time period when we were low on bursts, and that was a very easy way to make a working comp. And you could absolutely carry through clutch divine shields. But nowadays, you got to be able to kill everybody if you want to climb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there'll come times, just like Hearthstone, where you'll need to change it up. Maybe these 10 ranks are better for me to tank in, and then I'll go back to burst, or I'll go to auto attacks. Right now, in my circles, it's auto attacks. That's how you're going to carry, because the bursts are well taken care of. Everyone wants to play a flashy spellcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something. This is. I don't think this discussion will ever go away, no matter how much it is tweaked or worked on or improved or not improved, depending on who you talk to by Team One. It's a team game. You're at the mercy of 4 other people on your team and the 5 other people on the opposing team, and you can only make it so perfect. I mean, it's not. There's only so much you can do. It's different when you're looking at a game like StarCraft or Hearthstone and you're dealing in a 1v1 environment. There's just too many factors in this team environment, and I don't think the MMR hell discussion is ever really going to leave. And personally, I'm winded on it. It's a discussion I'm kind of tired of having. There will always be people that claim it exists. The rest of us will be like, well, not really, guys, because there's a consistent amount of top tier players in the upper echelon. Yes, we did Brawl with the Blues with McIntyre, and he was rank 5, but that's still, it's not like he's stuck at rank 45.
And how many games does he actually play in Hero League?
Right.
He's busy practicing, I suppose, and
Well,
they
for
don't
him,
practice Hero
He
League.
fell out of
Yeah,
rank 1.
his thing was that the whole night before he accidentally fell to 2, and he's like, "Let me just bust this out real quick," and ended up falling down to 5, as many of us do when we end up losing the rank 1.
Yeah.
We end up going on a marathon trying to get it back.
Yeah, so he was already rank 1.
It happens,
He
but
lost it.
if you look at like 100 games or something like that, his MMR is still pretty solid.
Oh,
he
yeah.
lost maybe 10 games.
Yeah.
And it's not that big a deal.
Not refuting that. Just that it's just that we've covered it on the show before, and it really doesn't matter. There's always a certain subsect of the community that will just argue regardless. So that's kind of why we just avoid it at this point.
Yeah.
It's a scary conversation to have, but for someone of that skill level, it's not only that they, maybe bring an assassin, but it's also that they're able to read the field. As soon as they got into the game, they played other MOBAs. You see that Vala, she doesn't stutter step. Excellent, let's kill her. And you feed off of the bad players. It's why you're constantly analyzing your own team and the enemy team.
Yeah.
Like you did on the charity brawl when you get Illidan. You identified the player you could kill, and then you killed him over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's exactly how Kyle Ferguson operates.
Yep.
But if you are trying to compete, that's the way you should do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have to do that. And I know when I start playing badly in a game, they gank me and they try to go for me because that's an easy target.
The game is... It's hard to do that in. Like, in our other MOBAs, the maps are so large, and perhaps the communities and the skill set, and maybe too the games have been out so long that people leave for long periods of time and come back, it's very easy to identify bad players. They also fall dangerously behind on XP because they're bad. And they'll be level 4 when you're level 8, and it's very easy to farm them.
Yeah.
So in that way, Heroes does avoid truly just awful, vitriol moments. Because I remember playing Dota with Garrett. And, you were into Drow for a bit.
Yep.
And Riki is a constantly invisible hero with no shimmer.
Yep.
And when he attacks, he pops out, but otherwise he goes right back into stealth pretty darn soon. And that guy got to level 14 when you were 8, and he farmed you.
Yep. Yes, he did.
And that is not a fun experience. And I'd rather have the whole team, doing their best defense as a group rather than, oh, Drow, why are you so low? Why you always die? Well, because I died earlier and I got low and then, snowball for 45 minutes.
Yep, exactly.
When I say MMR Hell, I usually mean it takes a very long time for me to get anywhere. I have a high win rate with Tracer and with Gal, which I play with my friend, and it still takes forever to get anywhere because I played so many games. If I want to get a higher MMR, I have to play hundreds of games to get up, even if I got a 75 or 60% win rate.
I think the new system will give really achievable goals to everyone. We'll get alerts when we're going to be advanced, if we're going to go into that next game and get advanced up. We're going to get alerts if we're going to fall out on this one. That'll be great for the drama, for streamers. One of the things people cite all the time, one of the problems with this game is you don't get to watch star players on Twitch because everyone is shared XP. So, getting that excitement of, ooh, here comes his promotion game and those sort of things will help out. And I think it'll be just as granular as the rank system. It'll still be a grind in the end. But hopefully it means that, our ranks feel a little more rewarding than the current conversations we're having, which is rank doesn't matter. It's all luck. It's all MMR hell or whatnot.
I also just really like the adoption of a StarCraft-like league system where it's broken down. It is granular within the league, but it'll be nice. I think it'll do somewhat for the morale to be like, well, I'm a gold player, I'm a diamond player, yada yada.
Yeah.
Something for me. I don't know why, and I could be wrong. And like you said, Kyle, we're kind of assuming a certain level of saltiness to still exist. It always will in these types of games. But for me, I think that type of breakdown makes a little more sense. And especially once we get to go watch pros who are getting, grandmaster ranks and they're getting their numbers, and it's like, okay, well, it makes sense that I'm diamond compared to this player.
Yeah. The second part of this lengthy email is, why do people want seasons at all? And why do they want short seasons? Because then you go back to Hearthstone and it's a grind. Oh well, sorry, I didn't do so well this season. It's 2 months. I need to grind again.
I think that's too much of a blanket. I think you're making too much of a blanket statement there. I don't think everyone necessarily agrees that it should be short seasons. I sure as shit don't.
But then why it's the same? It's in Overwatch. They have 2 to 3 month seasons. Heroes 2 to 3 months. Why do people want that? Why don't people want good matches?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's an excitement factor to get people back in the game. To me, it's the same exact reason why every single game has this time period it goes through where we need documentaries, and Reddit's going, oh, who's making the documentary about esports? Oh my God, let's fund this Kickstarter, or whatever. And do you really want to watch that? These people requesting the documentaries probably watch every esports event anyway. It's for the health of the game. They want it to be exciting for people. They want people to feel invited back to it and to grow the numbers.
Yeah, because think of the discussion around Hero League over the past year. There really hasn't been much of one outside of, holy crap, matchmaking is broken, fix it. But there's been no talk about the system itself because there is no system. It's just 50 to 1 forever. Have fun. You need something that's segmented. You need something that's regimented. You have it in traditional sports, and I think you should have it in competitive games.
Yeah, sure. I agree. But shouldn't that be longer periods rather than shorter? For some reason, the Heroes team said they wanted 2 months, that is 8 weeks, instead of 12. Why? Why don't they want 26 weeks or 52 weeks, which is a year or a half year? Because that will be... The players should want that, because that will get us better games. The placement matches is nothing. I used Kyle as an example. I looked you up on Hotslogs, and you've played, according to that, 700 Hero League games or something like that, or even more maybe. And then the placement games will be 10, 15. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Your MMR is very settled.
It's not But I mean, that's also part of it. So why are you saying that there's going to be worse games depending on a short season? It's not like they're throwing your MMR out entirely every time there's a wipe. It's going to take into account where you were before.
No, and we know that this
some bad games.
And this first MMR change for a season is going to be stronger than our future seasons. Our future seasons, we're expecting about 3 placement games. This first one, we're going to have 10, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And 10 is a lot. That is a huge investment to make people do. I remember doing 20, and I stopped caring around 5 because it was nebulous. I had no idea where I was. I was losing, but who knows? End up at like 17 or 13 in my placement, which isn't bad at all. But it still was, it wasn't really a fun event. And so I absolutely understand what you're saying. The MMR underneath will still remain the same. So it's a bit of an illusion. It's something Blizzard's into right now. And Blizzard loves fads. All video games love fads. I mean, what was that darn? It was like 2008 where every single game had factions. And it was maddening. And like you went and you bought like Infamous and you're like, oh, sweet, just a fun action game. Nope, gotta grind this faction. What? Yeah, like I was playing Fallout 4. Fun game. And people love New Vegas, but faction grinds. I'm like, no. I mean,
it all comes back around to the same point I've been screaming into the ether forever, which is why can't we just see our MMR number in the game? Dustin Brower has said he would like that. So what are we waiting on? What other... what is the holdup? What is the roadblock in these team meetings where they're like, no, the community cannot handle that? Because I think we can. And if they're, if people like Dustin Brower are going to get on Twitter and complain about hot slogs, then give us a better alternative.
I think the science of fun gets in the way, and you don't tell your kids their IQ.
No, you don't.
Like
you have that discussion on ITN before, I think.
Yeah, if you have 3 kids, you do not sit them down and tell them they're, because I'm older, I'm taller. Those are arguments enough. Those are our I'm rank 5, I'm rank 1 kind of discussions. But then we add an actual, tested number under it. And, whew, man. And, of course, there's going to be that kid in the class that's like, I got A's, what'd you get? They're always the ones asking what everyone else's MMRs are, the ones who think their MMR is highest.
Yeah, but this is the thing, Kyle. I'm not directly related to Captain Asshat in my pickup game, and I'm sick of listening to him complain. I'd rather have a cold, calculated number to be like, okay, cool, shut up, or okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, and there's no fixing it.
Yeah.
How often do they reset the MMR and stuff in Dota or League of Legends? Do they ever do that?
Never, that I'm aware of.
And those games are huge compared to Heroes.
Yeah.
So why do we need it? Is it just a fad, like you said, from Blizzard? That they seem to want this season thingy in all the games?
I think
I can understand it in Diablo somehow, because it is a grind game. It's the design of the game is grind.
I even saw that complaint the other day. Diablo has become too grindy. What?
No, it's never been.
It's the point.
No.
It is the absolute point of the game.
Yep. I'm just sad that this might, as when you do the placements, depending on how hard the reset is, during the placement you will shift around a lot and you will have bad experiences. And the top players will, I think they will have more. The ones on either side, or either the top or the bottom players, will most likely have the most differences. So they will have to play with the bad players, and they will have to play with the good players, and that's never really fun. If you put the bronze player in a game with McIntyre and his friends, that bronze player will be dead more than he will be alive.
Well, we know that's changing. We're going to have imbalanced games if pros join, and that is good.
Yeah. So that they can join, but still, when you do the placements, if you're new to the game, you will jump up around quite a lot, and you will most likely don't be very good, that good at least, and they will feed you, and you will be angry. It's still just one game, but
Yeah. Well, we always hear about how players right now, new players, placement players, are getting bans because they're considered at that medium level of MMR, and when it's testing you out at various levels, you are sometimes the highest MMR, even in your placement games.
Yeah,
I don't know if
there's if you win the first 3 or 4.
System, and Blizzard really likes to cite one thing, and it's true, and it's sad, play Team League.
Yeah. But usually I have 2 or 3 friends on. And I won't take that discussion again. It's been done over and over and over again. But still, I hope they actually get the good games. But I'm sad that it's 2 months and then you have to grind your rank again and again and again. And I hope the community realizes that they didn't want the best thing for them. And Blizzard, apparently, they seem to follow the community. So if the community decides, well, maybe we didn't think this through, they will change it. That's my hope, at least.
Well, I want to see how it plays out. Like, I want to see how it actually works with facts and not just our assumptions. Because at the moment, to me, I'm looking at this saying, hey, this looks like the opposite of what we've had so far, which I thought was a massive failing of the game. So I'm ready for something completely different.
Yeah, sure. Quick question to something completely different. If you were on a pro team, which role would you want to have?
Support.
I assume you would say that.
Absolutely. 100% support.
Be tank for me.
Support
okay.
or
Me and my
specialist.
friends want to be flexes because that's the coolest role. None of us are good enough to be it, but we really want to.
Yeah, supports, I think, get a lot of the love. They seem to be the popular ones for some reason. Granted, I immediately think of Dunk Train here. And
Dread.
yeah, our assassins are well cheered for, and our tanks, I think, is maybe the scariest one after seeing all the Zuna feeds and everything else that can go down.
Yeah.
But that's my role, man. I love being the Juggernaut.
I like
Hope that
setting...
Johanna pans out for you.
It's working well at the moment. It's sick, and I am angry. I am furious about Johanna working so well. That my damage is so high on Johanna. My survivability just... I'm so angry that this character's so good. And Diablo is where he is at the moment.
Diablo needs some freaking work. Big time. I'm with you there, Kyle. Well, Christopher, as always, thanks for calling in, man, and thanks for the support.
Yeah, no worries. I'll see Kyle later today and Garrett, some other day.
See you later, man.
Have a good one.
See you. Bye.
All right, let's add Mr. Cheesy Bob to the call. Sentient piece of cheese, you have been added.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh, that piece of cheese looks very human-like.
Yeah, no, I'm working from home today, so I have my webcam.
Ah, well, welcome back, Bob. How you doing?
I needed to show off my Pac-Man tie-dye shirt.
That is
sick.
That is the most hippie-looking Pac-Man shirt I have ever seen. I love it.
Yep.
That took some work.
Yeah, I didn't make it though.
Oh.
It took some work
I just buy them
from somebody other than me.
I've made tie-dye before, and it usually does not work well with shapes of any kind. You usually just get tie-dye.
Just get crazy colors.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun to do, but when you can have patterns, that's also fun. So.
But when I was a kid, honestly, my favorite craft was when you got the cardboard box and you got the marbles covered in paint, and you put a piece of paper down there and you just rolled it around.
I like the spiral thing with like the gear, like it's a circle and it had like the gear where you'd put a pen in a hole and it would like draw these little spirals.
Oh,
Yeah, spiral
I liked
craft,
that
right?
Too.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
I liked that too quite a bit. And chat room saying your shirt actually could be a wheel of cheese with a slice cut out.
No, I totally agree with Cynox. It's a cheese shirt. Not a pack, it's a cheese shirt. And the ghost on the back is blue cheese.
Yeah, blue cheese is
The
good.
ghost on the back. I don't know if I can show you.
I'm not big on. I'm not a big blue cheese fan personally, but yeah.
Oh, even like on a salad or something?
Blue cheese is cheese, though, right?
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of blue cheese myself either. I like the sort of like cheddar, Gouda, Swiss, Havarti.
I'm in on everything you just rambled off.
Provolone? I mean, I know it's a little 90s
Yeah,
now.
Provolone's great.
Provolone, mozzarella.
Jack, pepper jack.
Yep.
And then you can get some of the like fun kind of gooey spready ones like brie or
Yep.
I don't know the
Yeah.
different names of them, but there's some really good ones in that way too.
Yep. Some good stuff. And now we understand why his name is Cheesy Bob.
Yeah, no. I mean, well actually it's a name that I came up with a long time ago and I've just kind of stuck with. Like that's been my online handle for like good 10 years now.
Okay.
So, and before that, it was something referencing Pokemon. So I couldn't keep with that really.
No, that's true. It gets a little scary then because that game has moved on, from my understanding.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's still legit and still happens. But like when I saw like there was a thing about the new Pokemon game that got released, and they showed like the new starters
Yeah, there's a really adorable
And
owl.
there's this Reddit thread where people were talking about Pokemon, and I just couldn't understand any of it. I'm just like, what the F? Like,
Yeah,
what about, like, Pidgey and, like, like things that sound like Bellsprout, like things like actually sound like things. Instead it's like, yeah, no, I like my Tookie Pookie and the Gizbolt stack, and yeah, no, I really like in Generation 7 when you could go with a really OP thing of a Flugelpuff. And I'm like, what?
I would argue that Pikachu sounds like nothing, sir.
Yeah, no, Pikachu. Well, so Pikachu is off of a Pika, which is an actual animal. Looks like a cute kind of mouse.
Yeah, but if you don't know that, it sounds like nothing.
Sure.
Yeah, no, man, I'm in the same boat. For me, Pokemon began and ended with Red and Blue. So
Wait, hang on. Pokemon
Gold
Snap.
and Silver. Gold and Silver was really good.
that was all still Kanto region Pokemon, Kyle.
Okay, gotcha. Just
Yeah,
making
Pokemon
sure we're
Snap
not.
was great. It was like surprisingly good game. Like you wouldn't think it would be good, but it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
It had some depth. I had to get to that Mew level. I remember photographing in space.
I remember going down to my local Blockbuster with my memory card and printing off photos that I took.
I remember that too.
Yeah. Now, for those youngins out there, Blockbuster was a brick-and-mortar store where you could go to rent videos on VHS tape, which you had to rewind before returning.
Well, it's like if Netflix had a physical location, and to get the DVDs. Oh wait, so actually Netflix at one point actually would send out these things called DVDs.
Yeah, that's not fair.
You
They
just
still do that.
Stream it.
They still do that. That's not fair. They still do that. But anyways,
I know, but a lot of people know Netflix for the streaming stuff now.
Yeah, I don't pay for discs.
yeah, I don't either. As a matter of fact, the last physical disc service I used was Blockbuster. I liked it better than Netflix because I could return them to a physical Blockbuster location and get another movie for free.
Oh, nice.
When I did so, and then history happened, and bye Blockbuster. But yeah, man. Anyway, so what's up? What's your question? And slash our talking point.
I wanted to talk to you about the health orb change, and I think that you sort of actually missed the reason why people were upset about the change, especially for the tanks that would take the health regen.
You're specifically talking about all the changes to the questing talents.
Yeah, the one making them all quests and how they cap at 30, and then you get a bonus, and then that's it.
Right.
You were scaring me for a moment. I remember when this game was out for a month and I discovered health orbs gave me mana too, and I was like, what don't I know?
That was
What happened to health orbs, dude?
Like, what? Health and mana? That's crazy. It helped that they added the actual like bar of how much is regenning.
Yes, so you can actually see it. Yeah.
Like, oh look, there's a little sliver of mana that I'm going to get in a few seconds. But no. So the deal is the reason people were upset is not because they'd get 50 orbs and it was uncapped and they just have insane regen. The deal was when I played Leoric a lot, you wouldn't get 50 orbs, you'd get 20. And one of the things they did is they changed the health scaling you get from the orbs from 1.5 to 1. And so suddenly you have 33% less health from the orbs if you get the same amount, and you're never going to get to the 30 to get the bonus.
I see what you're saying.
So that's something that I think last week you guys were talking about a lot, and you're like, oh, what's so bad about it? I mean, you get a lot of stuff, but it's like, but the issue was the fact that you never would get up to the point where you got the bonus, and they've just cut your regen for...
Yeah, they did that to Conjurer's Pursuit a long time ago. So when this happened, I think my brain just said, this is in line with the Conjurer Pursuit change.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they buffed Leoric a little bit, because I miss him being good and people not raging at me if I want to pick him.
No, Leoric that quest was a huge bummer. And I want the 500 health.
Yeah, no, it's give me 500 health. I don't want to as Leoric, I play a style of Leoric where I don't want to die much.
I think that's the ideal style, perhaps.
Right? And it's like his talent is great when it comes in, because if you in the mid game, if in the kind of mid to late game you die, you can stay and get back in 40 seconds and then be back right in the mix of stuff, and it's actually pretty good. But the problem is that not dying is better than coming back sooner.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Same with Diablo and Devil's Due. I've fallen in love with that talent myself, but it still gets a little weird. Tyrael, everyone's always talking about how awful any trait is on death. Uther's seems okay, but it also eats up his own.
Tyrael's death ult is particularly bad
because it is his trait, and we're missing out on something else that could be there.
Yeah, it's annoying because his kit is really good. He just doesn't quite have the oomph.
Right,
there's just like a little something that's missing off Tyrael.
And the game moves too fast for us to have that be better. I think it's always team fights. It's always chaos. It's always the maximum. I mean, in other MOBAs, when a team fight breaks out, that is like the once-in-the-hour experience. And it was extremely important. And if anyone messed up their abilities, oh my god. But at the same time, everyone messed up their abilities because no one ever team fought as a group of 5 in other MOBAs.
Yeah.
So in this game, the chaos is constantly going. But mainly, like, I would love to see Tyrael's death explosion do more. But that works better in a different environment because right now in the chaos of everything, if Tyrael blows up, I don't want to be blown away. Whereas if we're talking slower team fights, everyone's doing less damage, then we can make those interesting choices of, don't kill Tyrael yet. I want to stun him when he's away from me. And then our range DPS take him down.
Yeah, I think that part of it is that no one is ever low enough, close enough to you when you die that you could actually do much with it, right?
Well, Blizzard is taking care of that for you. Or you see there is a talent where you can use your abilities while you're dead. So you can close that distance.
Oh, shows you how much I play Tyrael. I don't even know it's a thing.
Right, and I'm totally joking here. It's even in death, non-heroic abilities can be used while exploding. But they deal no damage. But you are able to relocate yourself.
But then you can teleport back to maybe actually explode on the Morales or something.
You could be like, I'm not chasing you. Whoop, here I come, Nova. And you do get more kills on your death animation, but again, you already died.
Yeah, as the, as the warrior, you want to be the person who maybe gets out even after the whole team wipes. Like, I'm trying to save you. Oh, you went re-engaged. Fine, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Yeah, and there's been some interesting ideas that don't make him a main tank, but, what if he were to have a reduced death cooldown if you hit more people? And on top of that, you could activate your death at will. So if you do a wombo combo with the ETC and Gazlo's thing goes off, and I choose as Tyrael to explode myself, I would res very quickly from hitting that many people.
Yeah, I wonder if they make Diva, and if they're gonna have her like pop out of the mech if she would die, and then have the ability to get back in the mech again.
Are you saying that you'd like Tyrael to pop out as human Tyrael after he dies, like all his armor falls off?
I don't know.
Wander around as bummer Tyrael for a bit.
No, but I was just thinking about that because I was thinking because if you could activate it, because I'm just thinking about Diva, where it's like sometimes she gets killed and her mech dies and she pops out and runs around and shoots stuff. But her ultimate is actually pops out of the mech and the mech explodes, and then she makes a new mech. And so I was like, well, what if you could sacrifice yourself to die and explode, and then if you get 4, your death timer is just instant and you're back again?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Really are kind of in that never-ending cycle, right, Kyle? Where we're kind of it's like we're never happy. It's like Arthas and Uberak finally got a rework. They finally got some love.
That's so great. Yes.
And now we're looking, and
Really
it's like, well, damn, you're right, guys. There are still these these launch era heroes that still need a lot of work, like Tyrael, like Uther.
Kerrigan is always cited.
Kerrigan, although I honestly at the moment don't feel like she's doing all that bad.
No, I think that falls into the kind of the Rexar camp, even though they might be doing well at the moment. It's too much work for what you get.
Fair enough.
That's why I'm so mad about Johanna.
Yeah,
I bust my buns on these other characters, lining up great angles on Diablo, and Johanna, I just walk into the fray.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love Johanna. Don't nerf Johanna. Just buff everyone else.
Yeah, that's what I want all the time. It's like, my favorite hero is good. Can you just buff everyone and leave them alone?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Although it's not always my favorite hero that's the strongest. I still love Mei Zagara, and she's fine, but she's definitely not breaking the charts at the moment.
Well, and if we're talking why things have gone this way, really it was to fill out the damage because that's what makes a comp. They gave us, with the release of the game, a really solid core group of supports and tanks. And then they filled it out a little better over the last year. And now they went, okay, cool, how can we fill out the damage roll? How do we stop every game from having Vala and Jaina? That's boring to watch. And now we've entered a phase now where they're going, okay, cool, we have enough of a core group. What do we do as that fifth man? What can we do to entice people to take Nova? What can we do to entice them to take Chromie instead? Or mix things up with an Abathur or a Tracer?
Yeah.
So I assume out of this phase, we're going to move back into Solid Town. I can't imagine that they haven't heard and adjusted their plans with everyone talking about supports right now.
Yeah, it's definitely something I was thinking about the other day is I'm wondering if it's possible that Blizzard is a little bit too bound by Blizzard lore in some ways of like making heroes because if I think about like Dota, like their heroes are just all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no cohesive thing, and there's some really wacky abilities that a lot of Dota heroes have, and I'm like, and some of them like that those wouldn't work necessarily in any specific lore, right? And it'd be cool to have some like just heroes that, although maybe they could just like do some really weird lore bendy stuff.
Well, that's the thing, like, because we've talked to Team One folks before, and we've talked, well, what comes first, the kit or the hero? And they said both. Depends on the situation. So I think if they have an idea for a kit, abilities that need to be added to the game, I don't think they're going to let the lore bind their hands. And I think Dota is a good example because it's like, well, what did Dota do as far as character models? They literally pulled anything you could think of out of the Warcraft 3 engine. They have a freaking Wisp in there, for Christ's sake.
Right, and the Wisp thing is hilarious, where it's like, it's like, oh, you're this little shiny orb that has these, like, it's funny because the Wisp is like the weakest unit in Warcraft 3, right? Like,
right. And yet in the, International 2, IO cleaned up.
Was like crazy OP.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the nice thing. It's like they could. I think Brightwing is what I would put forward to you,
exactly,
Cheesy Bob,
right.
as my example. It's like, well, what the hell does this make sense? They could have easily given polymorph to a mage. Well, we're getting it on Medivh.
Yeah. What did the Fairy Dragon even do in Warcraft 3? Like.
In Warcraft 3, I can't
all
remember.
The stuff that Brightwing does.
I just remember killing them in World of Warcraft and collecting like dust off of their wings or whatever.
Yeah, they were a unit. They had like phase out and stuff like that, but I was a undead player, so phase shift and mana flare.
Yeah, like.
Okay, well there you go.
And we didn't even get a phase shift.
Yes, we did.
On Brightwing?
Phase shift is what her Z ability is called.
Oh, that's a teleport, right? Phase shift was that you would take damage, but instead disappear for half a second.
Semantics, sir. And again,
No.
I think that proves my point that they won't let lore bind their hands. They went with what the game needed, what they wanted to make.
That is true.
So,
Right.
But I do disagree that. Yeah, but well, moving on.
oh, for crying out loud, Kyle!
Right, a teleport's not a void ability on an autocast.
That is not what I'm arguing.
No, I know that now. I understand.
A phase shift like talent or ability on a hero would be pretty cool though. Like a just briefly disappear to avoid damage and skill shots.
Oh, you mean like Dahaka's Burrow, which is kind of crappy?
But that's not.
No,
No,
like,
that's 2 seconds, right?
it's on Puck in Dota, which is Brightwing, which was a Fairy Dragon model, where if you would take damage, you briefly become immune from harm.
Yeah.
And disappear from the field.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool ability, actually.
I think it is too.
It'd be cool to see it in.
Just the way GC Bob described it, I'm like, this sounds a whole lot like Burrow, which honestly would have been really cool on a non-tank.
Right? Yeah. No. Certainly. Well, I mean, evidence. That friggin' 7-second ice block on Chromie. Like what?
It's to me, it feels like just a longer prison while everyone gathers around.
Yeah,
I've had very little success.
It's pretty funny though.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
And it's cool that the Time Dragon got the longer time ability. So I like that.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
Okay, one last really quick thing. A tale from my wife learning to play. we were playing. She was trying out Tyrande, and was playing her. And she had played a few games for one day, and the next day we played another game. And she's like, "I'm having a real hard time with her this time." And I said, "Are you using your D ability?" And she's like, "Oh no!" It was just very funny because she was like, "Oh, oops." She had not used caster D once in the entire game that we just played. She just forgot.
Yeah, we've all been through that. I think every single person that has ever picked up Tyrande has forgotten about that at one point or the other. I definitely did in my early days of learning how to play her.
And then the next barrier to entry is learning that it works on basically everything.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where she'd ask, "Can I cast it on this thing?" And I'd say, "Yes, please do."
Nice to have it off structures, though.
Yes.
Yeah, you used to be able to. You had to take a talent to cast on structures before, right?
No, it was just
really?
anything in the game.
Yeah.
I guess that was before I started playing.
Yeah, now
she may have in the past had like some sort of hunter's mark when attack the building destroys ammo or something like that. They were pretty into that when the game came out.
Because you didn't actually you weren't able to cast it on structures, but there was a level 1 talent where you could cast it on structures, and when you attacked a structure with it on it, it would deplete the ammo. Are there still any demolitionist?
I think so. I think Cigar might have one. Is she still sporting one? Yeah, she's got. Demolitionist. Destroy 1 ammo and deal 10% more damage to buildings.
Why is this still a thing?
I don't know.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that, Team 1.
I mean, if we're talking about getting rid of, generic talents, Nazebo's still sitting on a pile.
Doesn't he still have, like, Sprint and Gathering Power, right?
Yeah, he's still got the old version of Gathering Power. He's still got Venom. He's got Mercenary Lord, which isn't bad and has been upgraded, but...
Yeah, but, like, you don't take any of the defaults with Nazebo anyway, though, because his other abilities are really good.
He also still has Demolition and Bribe, which kind of fallen by the wayside.
But it's like, when do you take Bribe over the thing which gives you permanent health and mana?
Right, and I'm a guy who always wants a better gas mileage than a bigger tank, so I want the one that gives me more regen, the Blood Ritual, but Death Ritual is so good. It's too good. The chances of surviving something...
Actually, it actually did pretty good work for you in that one game you took it, I saw. But you went a little bit too full specialist and went there for some team fights.
Yep, that was Infernal Shrines. And yeah, it worked really well because I was able to keep my mana high throughout the skeleton phase. But yes, in that particular game, I did get a little caught up in static XP, but that was months ago now.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You may have noticed I kind of stopped playing specialists.
Also,
I get in trouble.
I wasn't sure, so I went to go check. He does not have Sprint anymore.
Okay. Did it come off Gazlo in the rework, or does Gazlo still have Sprint? There's like 1 or 2 heroes that have Sprint.
I think he lost it. I'm looking it up right now. Who has Sprint? No, Gazlo and Tyrande.
Okay, yeah, Gazlo and Tyrande have Sprint.
What is it up against for Tyrande?
You're asking me all these questions I don't know off the top of my head.
Let's see.
It's
at 13.
It's at 13 on Tyrande. Okay.
Oh, that's 13 on Gazlo. Yep. So it's Huntress's Fury, the attack speed, Overflowing Light, and Shrink Ray.
Okay, yeah. So you're not going to take Sprint over those abilities, really?
No, not really. I'm trying to think of a bizarre quick match scenario where you take that, but I can't think of one. If I'm that afraid, I'd rather just tank Shrink Ray and take whatever I'm afraid of and make it tiny.
Right. Yeah. Like if you need to run away from someone, Shrink Ray and run.
Yep. Absolutely. Not to mention you have Shadow Stalk where you can turn invisible and you can stun them. It's not like Tyrande really needs the escape mechanic.
No, she's fine.
Yep. Totally fine. I love Tyrande. Love her so much. So, anyway, dude, Bob, thanks for calling in, man.
All right. Good show.
Have a good one, man. Enjoy your
Bye.
weekend. And we had other people trying to call in. Let's see. Brockness was here. Let's see if he's still around.
Excellent.
I love his straight out of Hagerman with his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirt avatar on.
Brockness is awesome. He also hosts a cornucopia of Brock-related pun accounts.
Nice. Nice. Well, hello, Brockness.
How's it going?
It's going all right. I love your shirt.
Thanks.
So what did you want to talk about today, sir?
Well, there's been some heavy hops topics so far, so I wanted to throw in some craziness,
Ah, good man.
as I tend to do.
It's Friday, man. Let's party.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got lucky and got off work 3 hours early so I could make it to this, so that was pretty awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Nice.
So I'm feeling pretty good.
Sweet. Well, what craziness did you come with, sir?
Oh, well, it's a fandom of all types related question. Something that me and some friends of mine have been discussing. If you could bring in someone you like from any fandom that could help solve some problems that we're having in the world, who would you pick and why?
Oh, in the world? In real life?
Yeah, bring someone from fiction to real life that would help fix some of our issues here.
My gut reaction says Commander Shepard, but mine was kind of a dick, so I don't know if I want him in charge. He vanguarded in real life as well as combat.
I was about to say, I don't think you can give that as an answer because everyone's Shepard is different.
Right. Well,
Until you get to the end where the game goes, F you, none of this matters.
Yeah, no, none of it mattered. What'd you pick for the Arachnite Queen? Just kidding. This happened anyway.
Yep.
What? That third one, man. I hate inevitability. I hated Dragon Age 2.
Yes. Oh, and Mass Effect 2 was so good. It's like,
It was
how did you
good.
mess this up?
I don't know. Like, all I wanted to do was build my little house with what's her face. Well, she didn't really have a face, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Tally.
Tally.
I just wanted to build my little space house
You
and have my little
would
fake
go
space
for
human babies.
Tally is so your type.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one. Well, because of the current political climate in America and the fact that Civil War was awesome, I would say Captain America. I would like to see Mr. Steve Rogers to get in here and whoop us up back into fighting American shape. In a way that I think most Americans could agree on.
But we would still be, that would still be a dude beating up on dudes. Maybe we need to take this the other way around, more of a Watchmen kind of, Ozymandias kind of avenue.
Oh, God, no. No, what's wrong with you?
No,
Have you actually read that book?
I'm serious, man. Like, maybe we need to bring in a great villain so the world can unite against them.
Fair enough, but I don't like the idea of killing millions of people. So
No, we're talking more like, Saturday morning cartoon kind of villain. Like, someone who's already, like Skeletor. Like, he doesn't
you
really
didn't
do
say
anything
Skeletor.
bad.
You literally brought up Watchmen, where they kill millions of people to unite America.
Not that that was...
Well, actually, to
what's-his-face,
unite the
McRich
world,
Pants. And
Yes.
and it did work. Now you're making me feel bad about this conversation.
I'm just defending my reaction, which is you bring up Ozymandias, and I'm like, whoa, pump your brakes.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Nor do I want to be exploded on the street by a giant monster.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
just leave
I always hated the Boy Scout characters growing up. I was honestly never really into superheroes all that much to begin with. Until they started coming out into films and whatnot, I was always more into Ninja Turtles and Darkwing Duck and that kind of stuff. I didn't pick up a Superman comic and read it. And I always used to think Captain America was the lamest hero in the world. But the older I get and the more American politics that I digest, the more I'm like, damn, we need a Boy Scout. We need a Boy Scout so bad right now. So I would.
But I think too, you got to have clearer evils. What about if I brought up zombies? Would you be as upset? Because that is awful.
Yeah, it is awful.
That is nothing but your friends and family attacking you from the dead.
Yeah, that's to me, that's kind of a very bizarre way to take things. Like, well, what would make the world better? I don't know. Impending death hanging over the heads of every single citizen. I don't, like I said, had you talked to me probably 4 years back, I would have had the same answer for you. But I'm at this point now where I'm like, I just want a big influx of optimism. Like, I want it. I want it, and I want it now. But I want that optimism to also, when push comes to shove, how to throw down. So I want the mix. I want the mix of the two that we will never get.
Fair enough.
So my answer stands. There we go. I will stick with that, which is hilarious because I never would have said that when I was younger.
Except, can we trust Captain America now that we know he's been a Hydra
Oh,
agent
for crying
forever?
out loud. Everyone calm down. Keep reading. I'm sure it will pan out.
I have no idea what that's about, but I've seen the memes.
I'm sure it'll be fun. My favorite thing that came out of that was Captain America admitting he mains Bastion.
Yeah.
That was my favorite meme. But yeah, man, I don't know. And I think for me that goes a little deeper. I think that's part of the reason I disliked Batman versus Superman so much. It's like I don't go to a superhero movie to see this type of cynicism. Like I go to it just to see a more optimistic world. I want to see people who are better people than I am, a better person than I can be.
Well, then you haven't been on Team Iron Man this whole time. It's been a rough ride. People always dissing you for all your bad choices. You know what? I shoot mini missiles out of my back.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think fiction's in a really cool place right now. And I think DC is moving in the right direction, given announcements and shakeups in their corporate structure as of late. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of DC. There is hope.
Did that Death Squad movie ever come out?
It hasn't come out yet.
It's August.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of capping off the summer with Suicide Squad. I believe was what you were referencing.
Yes, that was.
Cool, man.
Yes, they're hoping to fill that sweet Guardians of the Galaxy spot. Make lots of money.
Oh man, I'm so ready for the next Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm excited for that one just because we're out of team building time.
Yeah, the team is assembled, and
yeah,
you're gonna
spend a lot of time doing that.
You're gonna love the first 10 minutes. Where it's gonna be like that opening shot of Serenity, where they're going through the ship, and it's like, oh, everyone's back. Yeah, wait, where's Book? And they'll go and they'll find Groot or whoever they decide needs to be left out on some planet, and they'll come back in the middle act, and everyone's gonna cheer. I don't care. I know I'm being pandered to, and I love it.
Yeah, that's fine as long as there's no trouble in paradise. I mean, there's a lot of things that ruin those Transformer movies, but the big, greasy, gross cherry on top is messing with those relationships.
Yeah, I'll give you that. You know what cheesy blockbuster I kind of dig, man? I like the new Ninja Turtles.
I do too. I don't know why people hated it so much. I was like, what more do you want?
I really enjoyed it. It was 90. It was
the Turtles.
Yeah, it was the 90s Ninja Turtles cartoon just turned up to 11.
Honestly, I thought it was a lot of fun. Shredder was great. If they just fix those turtle faces, I'm on board.
The turtle faces are a little
strange.
I know a little much.
Yeah, I know our old ones look like sock puppets, and I know in those old movies they move like kind of hauntingly. But I'm used to my duckbill kind of look.
Yeah, fair enough. I can look past that. It's one of the few movies I can look past the special effects on, even though I disagree with them. A lot of times, if I go in and I'm like, I don't like what you did with your special effects, it ruins the movie for me. But that one, I'm like, whatever. They got the personalities right. I love Shredder. I think they killed it on Splinter.
Oh,
so.
yes.
Yeah, well, the whole movie's loud. It's not shocking, right? Whereas, Civil War, I was sitting around the whole movie waiting for the one scene where they'd zoom out and show me what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
Whereas in Ninja Turtles, I never even expected that. I've seen Transformers. I look like I'm watching metal fragments in a blender, but I don't care.
Oh, that's a brilliant description.
That is a really good point. That is a really good point, sir.
Oh, man.
What was your answer, man?
Well, mine's delves pretty deep into comic books, but I would pick Brainiac 5.
Oh, yeah, I can't help you there.
He was a super intelligent in the Superman comics.
He's a bad guy, though, isn't he?
No, this Brainiac's good.
Oh, because he's 5.
Yeah, well, there's like up to 13, and their allegiances vary. They're all over the place.
I love that kind of stuff. Have you read the what was it? I forget which Spider-Man arc it was the end of, but then it was also the beginning of the Superior Spider-Man where Dr. Octopus becomes Spider-Man.
Yes.
That is such a cool arc. It is, Kyle, if you haven't read it.
So interesting.
Yeah, Kyle, you need to read it. It's amazing.
An arc you can appreciate with time away from it, I'm sure.
Huh?
Yes.
No. Well, I mean, I picked it up specifically because someone was like, "Have you heard what's happening in Spider-Man right now?" And they
Right,
explained
I'm
it
just
to me.
saying that is not the kind of advancement you want in a week-to-week kind of comic read. Like, here comes my fresh episode. I can't wait for the adventures of old Peter Parker. What have you done? Hail Hydra.
That's true. That is very true. That's a good point. But I think it's a fantastic arc. So if you haven't read the beginning of
let's all vote
Superior
to kill it.
Spider-Man, yeah, it's great, man. It's so cool. The setup is Dr. Octopus wins. He actually wins. And I love that. I love that whole kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Well, Brockness, thank you, man. Thanks for calling in and upsetting the balance of very serious Heroes questions.
Mm-hmm.
It was my pleasure.
Have a good weekend, dude.
Yeah, you too.
All right, and let's see if we can't get Caleb in here, who's been trying to call in.
Sweet.
Let's see if he's still around.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you, Caleb?
Oh, all right. Glad that hopefully this seems to be working better.
You sound fine.
Oh, yeah. Sound fantastic.
Good. So, guess we're close to the end, so we'll try and get to the point. The East DreamHack or whatever, they had a few games between the casters and between Team Dream and Grubby, I believe. Did either of you happen to see that?
I did not.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome.
No, that sounds like a really fun show match, though. Tell me Grubby went his patented Siege Uther build.
I could not tell you that or not. I was unfortunately vacuuming the house madly before a birthday party. Best thing I've ever had on in the background. And between that and tournaments, the one that all the podcasts did a while ago and the conversations about the Pants tourney coming back, do you think that there will ever be a slicker produced fun tournament, or do you think it's always going to kind of be on this guy's channel or this other thing? Because I really enjoyed seeing it with the official commentators who were saltier than ever, and I loved that as well, getting to hear them really dig into the competitors, because generally they do this thing where they're actually nice to the people playing, and that was not the case during the exhibition match.
I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, a lot of times with this type of stuff, you know, people vote with their eyeballs, and if it's popular and it catches on, you will see more of it.
I love getting to see the reverse draft we saw. What was that in Heroes Hype? To
Yeah, that is
fire
fun.
it off. Yeah. And back in the day, and that's funny to say because it's still part of this career, but back in the day, a little company called the GSL ran this production where they were inviting pro StarCraft players in to fight the general public, but they would have to spin a wheel to see what their disability was going to be, and whether it was like playing with two chopsticks or if it was like doing it with like oven mitts on and having to control your character that way.
It was phenomenal.
And it was wonderfully produced. And, you know, the big cameras were on, the studio was into it, the casters were there, and it died very, very quickly. It lasted maybe 3 episodes.
It was GSL off the record. And I actually have a list, Kyle, of the challenges they were meant to do.
Oh, nice.
DRG had to wear rubber gloves, had to play his second game using chopsticks, and had to play his third game with one arm in a sling. Marine King had to play a game while wearing mittens, and he had to win his second game while only using the mouse. He didn't play a third game because he's better than Dong Regu.
The old rivalry.
Anything that exciting, but there was one enjoyable part in the exhibition games, because apparently the player that one of the casters sat down at the desk for had completely remapped the keyboard to the point that escape was no longer menu. So, and Q, W, and E were all completely unbound, as in do nothing.
Oh, God,
no.
that's the
So-
worst.
Yeah, it's the guy that used to be on Tempo Storm or whatever. I'm forgetting the game name now.
No, jeez.
Zuna?
No.
Who just left?
And then he went in casting, and everyone was happy that he's casting. I know.
Oh,
I
Dread.
guess it isn't a big deal. Yeah, Dread.
Oh,
So-
gotcha.
It was especially played up that it was going to be a big grand thing, and then he spent several seconds just standing while he was trying to figure out the keyboard. So it was quite a blast to listen to.
That's pretty awesome. I'm sure he's pretty quick to get angry too, so I'm sure it was a display.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, hey, here's my favorite one, Kyle. MC had to blow up 5 balloons during the game and win with 70% health. He lost that game.
Wow.
He lost that game. He won his first game where he had to wear the mascot head for GOM TV.
I think we are going to have trouble putting those productions together regularly until we have some sort of permanent studio for these kind of events. And it seemed like it was coming, right? Blizzard bought that MLG crew. Who was it they bought before that?
Before MLG, well, they acquired a gentleman from ESPN.
Yeah, that was going to be their director, but I thought they bought up another production house as well.
Oh, it was oh jeez. It was
Was it Diesel?
it was the IGN league, wasn't it? IPL?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There's so much production ready there. I thought they were going to roll with it. And we were going to get, the heart of esports in Burbank.
Yeah, and not really happening.
No, and even not Sia Steve. I'm forgetting the guy's name. He does a lot of the videos. He did the interview for the most recent Legion developer thing.
I didn't see that.
Anyway, people on the payroll being underutilized after being picked up.
Well, you don't know what they're actually doing behind the scenes.
Sure, they could be answering emails all day. They could be, calling up casters and getting them organized.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm really curious to see where the new esports division as part of Activision Blizzard as a whole, because that's the other thing to remember is it's a division of both. It's not a Blizzard specific thing. I'm anxious to see where that leads. Because at the moment we haven't really seen a whole lot. I mean, Overwatch is huge, and everyone's complaining at the top of their lungs about the next Call of Duty. That's all that's really happening right now as far as what's new in esports with Activision Blizzard.
Well, hopefully they'll manage to, at the very least, continue having the fun mode stuff as bumpers around the game proper. That'll work for me.
Yeah, with any luck. We always get show matches and fun stuff at BlizzCon usually.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, if we're talking about downtime, show matches are a great way to fill that. But the Korean scene's also been using the player comms and playing those back during the game from the winning team.
Oh,
And
yeah, ESPN did that too. It didn't work out too well for him.
no, I think our American players might be a little more, particularly our college players, might be a little more bolsterous.
I can't blame
Anyway.
them for that, man. If anyone's listened to
No.
me play a game, they know exactly what I sound like. Sailor.
Yeah, well, and if you're about to win your college tuition, I'm gonna drop a couple bombs as well.
Yep.
Why not?
I'm
But
sure
there are
my
things that can
my
be done.
mom would have dropped some bombs if I was winning my college
that
tuition.
too, that too.
And my mom is a saint.
Good work. Anyway, I should probably pop off and leave you to the remainder. So thanks a bunch and good work on the shows.
Well, thank you for calling in, Caleb, and thanks for the support.
Bye.
Have a good one. Well, I believe that will do it for this month's call-in episode, Kyle.
Excellent.
So
Great
it's-
questions today.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. It was a nice, wide, I feel, gamut of questions. We got
It's
to talk
so
about
great to do these too after we record the Thursday show because it's a great little check-in as to what everyone thought, not only what we talked about on the show, but what's kind of on their minds that maybe we missed.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. So thanks again to everyone who called in. And thank you to all of our patrons out there who are supporting the show. Because without you, we wouldn't be able to do this kind of stuff. So thanks. I'd be at work right now, literally. Well, technically it's 5:03. I'd be driving home from work.
Oh, you mean without doing podcasts?
Yes.
You're talking like
without patrons supporting the podcasts, I would have a day job.
Yes. Well,
Yep.
we do have a day job.
We do. It is this.
this.
It is
Yes.
this. It would be
Don't make
this.
it sound easy, Garrett.
No, it's not. As my lack of sleep this week has taught me. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much Always, it's always insane when Kyle and I take a moment and look at where we have come from. Dear God, Kyle, in July will be 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years ago, how far we have traveled. So thank you guys very much. And that's going to do it. Follow Kyle on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. Follow me at Garrett Art. No long-winded outro. We'll save that for the Prime show this upcoming Thursday. And until next time, good luck and have fun, everyone.
Take care.